Hey guys, Taylor here, and yes, I'm filming on a phone. I am filming on my brand new iPhone, and honestly, I just kind of wanted to test it out, kind of make my life a little bit easier with the editing and all that fun jazz. So today, I decided to go ahead and talk about triggers, because it seems to be a pretty common term for anybody who has ever had to deal with mental health. But today, I'm going to go ahead and look at triggers from the autism perspective of the whole thing. Because, well, I have autism. I don't know if some of you knew that or not, but in case you didn't, if you guys end up liking this video, and if you think this video will help somebody you know, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, or if this is the first video you've ever seen from me, my name is Taylor. Thank you so much for stopping by. And honestly, I just want to share this crazy journey with you guys. So if you guys would please hit the subscribe button, but when you do, turn on the bell notification so that you can be notified whenever I post a new video. Alright guys, with all that now being said, let's go ahead and set the trigger for this conversation. You know what? I think I got my groove back. Okay, so to kind of understand this from the autism perspective, we have to understand what a trigger is. So, what is a trigger? So basically a trigger, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and read off my notes. Yes, I do write notes before every single video I do so that I know what I'm talking about and I don't pull off like I did last week and already filmed 2 videos and my subject went all over the place. So I need notes to help me organize my life because I need help. It says here that Sir Webster defined trigger as something that acts like a mechanical trigger in initiating a process or reaction. Thank you. Thank you all. That accent took me 10 years. Thank you so much. And actually when I looked it up online, there was like a trigger for like a trigger of a gun, a trigger of a bomb, stuff like that. And I think that that second definition that I found was probably the most relevant to what we're talking about today. So now we know the technical term of what it is. We just have to know what it does. And that is going to lead into my definition of what I truly think a trigger is. Basically, a trigger is just anything that you hear, that you see, that you taste, like anything that involves your senses, and it takes your mindset into this very dark, very scary, traumatic state of mind. A good example of this is PTSD. I mean, think of the soldiers who come home after a long time being in another country fighting for our freedom. They hear a firework or a loud boom, they're gonna go into combat mode. Maybe you experienced something traumatic like a car crash. Oh, there's this Hilary Duff movie. I forgot. Raise your voice. Raise your voice. Raise your voice is a good example. Every time she saw a bright light, it would send Hilary Duff's character back into the scene where her character's brother was killed in a car crash. I think that all of us have a trigger personally because we've either dealt with a traumatic event or something that really affected us. And once we get that one little reminder, our minds go back into that dark place, to that scary place. We feel that pit in our stomach and we just need help coming out of that. Autistic people have their own set of triggers. And it's nothing like from a memory or nothing from a traumatic event, not PTSD or anything like that. It's just, well, it's kind of hard for me to explain it to you, but it's basically here and the now. It's like our triggers are right now, here on this earth, around us. And like most autistic people, I do have triggers that are like here in the now, all around me. I do have my triggers. For autistic people, triggers are basically things or just anything that messes with their sensory stimulation through the sensory messaging process. I'm not a doctor or a psychologist. I'm sure I'm not able to explain how that whole thing works because I don't have a PhD. Sorry about that. But what I will explain to you is that these triggers that we have are all around us. Like there's no avoiding them. Like it's literally all around us. And this is why autism is so tricky, because I'm not a psychologist. I don't have a PhD. Sorry about that. I am not a doctor so I don't have the medical type of papers to properly go into detail about all this. I'm just an autistic person trying to explain this to you so that you guys can help make the world a much better place for people like me who are on the spectrum, whether we're mild or severe. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try my best to explain this as fully and as clearly as I possibly can without having it sound so complex. For autistic people, like I said, it's all around us, but it's like putting a penny in a piggy bank. All these different types of triggers, we put them in, until eventually this piggy bank called our sensory stimulation gets full, it gets overloaded, and that leads into answering 1, 2, 3, an overstimulated meltdown. And basically, the overstimulated or oversensory meltdown is basically when all of our triggers collapse together and just go like it just explodes everywhere. The piggy bank is too loaded and they need to find a way to expand it, so it just goes all over the place, and that makes us cry, that makes us get violent, that makes us scream, that makes us do this, it makes us, stim. It does all of that. These overstimulated meltdowns, breakdowns, or as I read on one website, shutdowns, which basically it's what it is. We shut down our physical body so that we can get our mental state of mind back to where it's supposed to be. These types of things happen to autistic people because of these combined triggers. I mean, that's all it is. Autistic people, the types of triggers that we have is not just one little pinpoint thing. It's not a memory. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things combined, like I've said over and over again in this video, and you guys are probably like, Taylor, we know. Well, I'm trying to explain this to you, okay? So please, it's been a while. I'm doing my best to make sure that I explain this to you guys as best as I can. The types of triggers that we autistic people have to do with our senses, our sensory stimuli, and how everything goes into our heads. It could be something that helps us be more sensitive to our sight. It could be something that makes us extra sensitive to hearing, our touch, our taste, our smell. All 5 of my senses are extra sensitive because of this little thing called autism that's inside of my head. Like I do with the notes, I do my research before every video, and I'm actually subscribed to a couple of vloggers who do have loved ones with autism, and I saw that some of the most common triggers for autistic people are flashing lights, loud noises, a ton of people, and those I think are like the top 3. If I'm leaving one out, that's pretty common. Please let me know in the comments below. I know I'm probably leaving out a lot. I'm just choosing the top 3 to cover because those are, I think, are the most common after my research. And it's not just our senses, it's also our emotions. Like if we're angry, if we get upset, if we get frustrated, those also count as triggers for us because we're sensitive. We are sensitive people, both physically and mentally. Which now leads me up to me personally. What are my triggers? What sets me off? Well, I would say that flashing lights would be considered a trigger for me. And not the boom, 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 this I can handle. But if I'm around a fire truck or a police car or an ambulance and the lights are going boom, 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 I cannot handle that. I do not like that. I am also not the biggest fan of loud noises. I always have to wear headphones whenever I'm in a restaurant, or if I'm just too overwhelmed in public, I have to put headphones on to help me cancel out the noise so that I don't have a meltdown in public, because that would not be good. I also don't like a lot of yelling, a lot of screaming. That also sets me off for some reason. I think it's because my hearing is extra sensitive, which I'm pretty sure that is the reason why. I'm just trying to sound more relatable to you guys. And I don't like crowded spaces because there's nowhere for me to move around. There's nowhere for me to kind of go or walk around or stuff like that. I'm just in this small little space, which kind of defines me as also a claustrophobic, but I'm not really too claustrophobic. I just don't like being in small crowded spaces because it feels like I'm like, you know? And guys, I have 2 of the most incredible and the most accurate real life examples of how my triggers go into play. So around Labor Day, if you are from where I'm from, around Labor Day, there's a little county fair that goes out into the country. And the county fair, I've gone to for as long as I can remember until 2016. And I remember feeling a little bit strange. I think it was 2014 when I was there. I started feeling a little off. I think this was also around the time when I was fully discovering what my autism was for the first time and fully understanding what I'm capable of and starting to recognize my triggers around that time period. I think that's when it started. Now, 2 years ago in 2017, I couldn't go because I was sick. Yeah, I got sick. And then last year I was thinking about it, and I fully realized that the county fair, was a sensory messaging heaven. So last year I stayed home from the fair, and chances are me staying home from the fair this year are looking pretty good because I just can't handle it anymore. I'm just at the point in my life, and I'm at the age where I'm starting to realize the fair is something that I just cannot do anymore. So now I've come to the advice or insight or tip, I think, part of this video. What helps me? What helps me not make this piggy bank explode? Like, if you are able to, just say, I'm overwhelmed. I feel tense. That's what I tell my mom sometimes. And she say, okay, take a deep breath, calm down, get your mind on something else. And that helps. Another thing that I would do that helps me, STEM. Thank you. I would sit and play with Putty like this and just kind of just play with this a little bit. That helps me a little bit. But also STEM, with this, I'll just shake it up, and literally I could watch this for like hours without end. I mean, look how mesmerizing that is. Look how beautiful this is. And sometimes I would STEM with this disconnect sand here, and I would just put it in my hands. I would run it through, make it look like a waterfall for all you TLC fans. Another thing that I'll do is I'll listen to music, but I would either play something on my phone, or I would put just like a CD in my jukebox, in my little thing here, and just listen to some music, probably, most likely, the artist who is in my hand right now. Something that my mom discovered early on that helps me a lot, and I've discovered this too as I kept on doing this method. She always put me in the tub in water. Like, if I was ever like, ah! Or if I was if I was really overwhelmed, she would stick me in the bathtub full of water and just let me play there. And that's a great thing about it, is that you can tailor it to whatever helps your autistic loved one, and whatever helps them is whatever helps them, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Well guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up if you guys liked it. Also in the comments below, let's see, I know, what is your favorite SpongeBob moment? Mine is definitely, no, this is Patrick. I look forward to reading and replying to your responses below. If you want to check out my previous 2 videos, you can either click right here or right here, whichever one. Hold it, scratch that. Something weird is happening with YouTube Studio, and I'm not able to do the previous 2 videos. But as soon as I get that fixed, as soon as I figure this thing out, then as soon as it gets fixed, I will definitely put the previous 2 videos where I said they would be. Back to the video. And finally, as always, if you guys like this video and want to see more videos from me in the future, go ahead and give this channel a subscribe by clicking right up there, which I do recommend because I have a lot of exciting videos planned for you guys. Well guys, that's it for now. Until next time, bye bye.